President Donald Trump's top economic advisor launched an unusually critical campaign against Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau Sunday morning, and placed the blame on Canada for Trump's refusal to sign the G7 joint agreement. Larry Kudlow, who hosted a number of CNBC programs before replacing Gary Cohn at the National Economic Council, publicly accused Trudeau of stabbing the president in the back and double-crossing him at last week's G7 meeting. The meeting of the world's top industrialized nations revealed a growing tension between the United States and its allies over trade agreements and worldviews. The president first insisted Russia be included in the summit once again. The country was excluded after its annexation of Crimea in 2014. Trump blamed former President Barack Obama, instead of Putin, for the annexation. Trump continued to ruffle feathers by threatening to end all trade with G7 nations if they did not retool their unfair trade practices with the United States. At the end of the summit, Trudeau held a press conference where he called Trump's tariff talk kind of insulting, and said that it would be with regret, but it would be with absolute certainty and firmness that we move forward with retaliatory measures on July 1, applying equivalent tariffs to the ones that Americans have unjustly applied to us. The president responded to Trudeau's comments by refusing to sign the joint G7 agreement that his own advisors helped shape. Based on Justin's false statements at his news conference, and the fact that Canada is charging massive tariffs to our U.S. farmers, workers and companies, I have instructed our U.S. reps not to endorse the communiqué as we look at tariffs on automobiles flooding the U.S. market, Trump tweeted Saturday. He later doubled down by calling Trudeau meek and mild and dishonest. Trudeau holds a press conference and says the U.S. is insulting. He said that Canada has to stand up for itself. He says that we are the problem with tariffs. Kudlow explained on CNN's State of the Union. He was polarizing. He really kind of stabbed us in the back. He did a great disservice to the whole G7. He betrayed them, he said. Kudlow went on to call the Canadian Prime Minister's press conference a sophomoric political stunt for domestic consumption. President Trump played that process in good faith. So, I ask you, he gets up in the airplane and leaves, and then Trudeau starts blasting him at a domestic news conference. He asked CNN's Jake Tapper. I am sorry, that's a betrayal. That's a double-cross. Keep up with this story and more by subscribing now. Kudlow later tied Trudeau's comments to the president's upcoming Singapore summit with North Korean despot Kim Jong-un and explained that, if anything went wrong during the negotiations, it would likely be Trudeau's fault. Kim must not see American weakness, Kudlow said. This is a case where Trudeau, it was like, I don't know, pouring collateral damage on the whole Korean trip. That was a part of Trudeau's mistake. Trudeau made an error. He should take it back. He should pull back on his statements, and wish President Trump well in the Korean negotiations. U.S. President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hold a meeting on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Laval, Quebec, Canada, June 8, 2018. Saul Loeb, AFP, Getty Images.